I like to place the drawings like music notes. Every drawing is like a tone, needs some wall around, some space around, and has relationships to the next one. The relationship goes also from one wall to another, like a net through the whole space. But of course, it's not a visible net. It's not what the visitors, in the best case, will do.
Para esta exposición, Partitura, nos hemos centrado principalmente en obra reciente de la artista suiza Silvia Bagli, que hemos puesto en diálogo con una cuidada selección de obras más antiguas, desde los años 80, para, por una parte, mostrar la continuidad de la obra dibujística del artista y, por otra, también los progresivos cambios que ocurren en su práctica. I thought it'll be nice to start talking about your materials, your working materials, which you have explained us that are very simple and have been consistently the same materials for a few decades.
Yeah, so I need very few things. A table, a chair, a glass of water, a brush and color. And then I sit on my table and I have a pile of paper and I start. And I really like to work without too much preparation. So drawing is exactly the right thing, because you have the paper, you can start immediately without any preparation.
Su proceso es secuencial. Silvia dibuja en un papel tras otro y los va disponiendo en el suelo de su estudio o en las paredes de su estudio, los reorganiza, los interroga, los selecciona, hasta que encuentra una combinación o una disposición de dibujos que le parece novedosa, que le parece sorprendente. A partir de ahí, estos conjuntos, estas disposiciones, se instalan de la misma manera en distintos espacios expositivos.
You make a drawing, I let it dry on the floor. I take the next paper, make the drawing, dry it on the floor, and so on. And the next morning or the next day when I work, I have a look on my drawings, and then I have a little bit more distance and I can look, well, this one I put on the wall, this one I throw away, this one I don't know exactly. And this takes a while, because all the drawings on the wall, I think they are the good ones, but perhaps after a while they get slowly to be not as interesting as I thought.
Desde finales de los 70, Silvia se ha dedicado a la práctica del dibujo, una práctica que está íntimamente relacionada con su cuerpo y sus movimientos, ya sean en el estudio, en el paisaje o en el espacio doméstico. Sus dibujos pueden ser entendidos como registros sensoriales, como un paseo por el campo, como la percepción de una parte del cuerpo que no puede ver, como por ejemplo puede ser la espalda, o inspirados, por ejemplo, por poemas. También sus dibujos son rastros de gestos de su cuerpo, de la manera en la que ella agarra el pincel con más o menos fuerza, de la extensión de su brazo cuando está dibujando o del ritmo de la pincelada.
Since the beginning I make always drawings about my fingers, because when you make drawings you held the paper with your left hand, and the first thing you see when you look is always fingers. So these fingers are in different periods, they come again and again. But I try to find new fingers. they have to have some density in the line.
Yeah.
If not, they can go to the garbage.
But also those images, like for example, it's quite clear when you're drawing that your hand is pressing the paper, you're drawing the fingers, but you also draw perhaps other parts of your body that you cannot see, but you can still perceive.
Yeah. Well, this is perhaps a little bit my working method. Of course, the first thing is I see my hands, but then it's also always interesting to think about how could be the image when you look behind the chair and you see your feet. What kind of image can this give? And of course, it's more complicated to imagine this view from behind. And sometimes it gives also a little bit wrong drawings. But they can survive anyhow.
Para el Centro Botín, Silvia ha creado una partitura, que podemos decir es una partitura en 8 movimientos, en las 8 salas del espacio expositivo. Se trata de una secuencia de grupos rítmicos, de conjuntos que sala tras sala van acumulando significado en su persistente acumulación. I thought we could also talk about the title for the exhibition, Partitura. Through this title, we could somehow embody the experience of viewing your work and how the work is installed in the different spaces. So the different rhythms and textures and silences that your work creates. So how did you conceive this kind of a score for Centro Botín, and what is the role of the walls and the spaces in the configuration?
When I was the first time here, or when I got the floor plan, I saw immediately, well, they have a room. I could show once again my Venice work, because it's exactly the same length and the same width, and only the doors are not on the same place.
Yes.
And from this work on, I decided what could it be in the space before, because when you walk through the exhibition, my idea was to show like different rooms with different works. But anyhow, to have like a line guiding you from one room to the next room, like when you walk and sing.
Like a melody.
So, like a melody, yes. So the ideal visitor would perhaps go close to one drawing and then to see the next one, but then he turns and looks on this side, and then looks on this side and makes like an own drawing with the feet.
Estos 8 movimientos de la partitura de Silvia Bagli comienzan con una selección de fragmentos de cuerpos nerviosos en blanco y negro que están dispuestos en las paredes de las salas y también sobre una serie de mesas. Continúan con una serie de obras bajo el título Habitación Roja, que se trata de la propia versión de Silvia de la retícula, una de las principales estructuras del arte moderno del siglo XX. Sometimes your drawings can also be, or the images can come from a walk that you did in the landscape or a poem that you read.
Yeah.
And this space where we are sitting is a great example. This is, if I could say, if you allow me to say, a recreation of the pavilion of the 53rd Venice Biennale when you represented Switzerland. And it's inspired by a Danish poet called Inger Christensen, who is one of the most influential poets in 20th century European literature. And for this work, you spent some time in Iceland, and in a way, your body and the landscape created a relation where the images may have emerged.
I knew that I'm invited to Venice, and then I went to Iceland. So I had these 4 months in a little town on the east part of Iceland. And we have been there from March to July. And in March, we had a lot of snow until May. So it was unusual, but for me, it was very nice because all this snow and then the colors of the houses on the snow, it was kind of special. And then, of course, when I'm working for an exhibition, I'm always looking also for a title. And when I read for the first time the book Dead from Inger Christens, it's a long poem. The first lines, it was like, well, she expresses with words what I try to do. So I was also fascinated that somebody could tell it, but of course in another way.
And part of the process of preparing the works for the pavilion had to do with getting to know the context where you were living?
Yeah, we had a little house, and all the big drawings you see here around, they are not made in Iceland because my room where I could work was 3 of 2.5 meters. So I did all the smaller works
in Iceland.
In Iceland. And then when I came home, I tried to make some bigger ones.
And some people that know your practice may be surprised to find works that are not on paper. So here we have one work on the space in front of the water, in front of the Bay of Santander, which is on wood, on discarded wood. And then there is another work which is on plaster. Can you tell us a bit more about those works?
Yeah, let's start perhaps with the plaster.
Yes.
We have a new studio and had a wall out of plaster. We had to take away the wall. And my partner took a big hammer and
hammer it
in pieces. And when I saw these pieces, I thought, well, perhaps I could take the shape, but perhaps sometimes I had to cut a little bit. And then I had my gouache and I started to paint on them and to put them on the table and to pile up one on each other. And it was for me a little bit like playing around, but also to see, well, they could be like figures or heads, and they can talk to each other. They are now on a high table, so you have a little bit the distance as you are also on the table. Because when it's on the normal height, then you would like see only the top of the head. So it's more to have this contact direct. There you can place them as on a big place. So they are perhaps starting to walk and you can see lines are crossing on the table.
But I think that happens also with your works on paper, where you can feel that the image has a life outside the frame, no?
Yeah.
It's like window frames.
Yeah.
You're allowing us to view something, but there may be many other things that we're missing that are happening outside the frame.
Good drawings are bigger than just the paper dimension. Yeah. They should go over the frame.
Or in the case of to have a shelf life over the boards. So that this work is a collaboration with your partner, with Eric Hattan. And where did you find the material?
Well, Eric had this idea to collect these IKEA shelves on the street. And it seems in Santander nobody
throws IKEA shelves.
Yeah. But in Basel, it seems that people quite often change the furniture. And they have things to put on the street, and we collect these materials. And I made just a black line on the middle of the sheet. And it's interesting because the wood is reacting completely differently. The paper absorbs the color, and when you have a piece of wood and it's
varnished,
yeah, then the line sometimes is shrinking, sometimes it's just going very easy over the surface. So this gives very different lines.
It's consistent in your practice, the diversity of the line, everything that you can express, all the kind of sensual diversity that you can achieve with a line. And this is also especially relevant as well with your campos de color, color fields, where one can really tell how paper behaves differently depending on the amount of paint that you use, depending on the strength of the brush stroke. Now, those works are very much kind of like, the material is very much in dialogue with your gestures or your strength or your intention.
Yeah, and then at the end it gives something like a skin, because it's, I don't flatten them, I let them a little bit wavy like they are, and yeah, they are skins.
For me, what is really special and what I discovered through working with you and paying more attention to your drawings is how they somehow embody exquisite acts of attention, of somehow elevating daily experience. They come from simple interactions, and in a way they elevate daily impressions or daily experiences of life.
Yeah, it's making drawings, it's showing time, and when you make a line, you always see the beginning of a line and you see the end. But you can really see also on the IKEA shelves.
Yes.
But not only, there is also the long red lines where you can see it very well, where I start and where I end. So lines are like my actors.